And it was always the boys, boys, boys. So I'm like, I'll get out there and do it too. And I got out there and I did it. And I did it as great as the boys, if not better.
Right.
But yeah, I feel like I always have to prove myself. So I definitely have to give it my all just to represent for the females that like women can do it too. Because there's a lot of disadvantages as women in sports. So I try to make sure that I do my part.
Hey y'all, it's me, Kemba Upshaw Howard. I'm the big sis, not the little one.
Hey y'all, it's Denise Upshaw. And yeah, I'm the little sis, but I've been giving Kimba a run for her money since the 99 to 2000s.
And today you're here with us on the up and
On
up.
the up and up.
So you guys, we are wrapping up our education month, and we can't wrap up without having our next and final special guest of this education series. So we are going to introduce you all to Fantasia Hilliard. She is a force to be reckoned with. Let me tell you, both on and off the court. Don't let her
Right.
stature fool you. Born and raised in Sacramento, this Sac State alum has turned her love for basketball to a mission of community upliftment. As a nonprofit business owner, coach, and a referee official, I did say all of those. Fantasia channels her passion for sports and wellness into real impact. She is a four-time All Big Sky Conference honoree and a former professional basketball player in Lithuania and Sweden. She brings elite athleticism and a global experience to everything she touches. Now, she's taking her drive next level, preparing to begin her doctorate in physical therapy at USC just in this coming January 2026. Fantasia's journey is one of grit, growth, and giving back. Get ready to be inspired by Coach Tay. Coach Tay, let's go.
Welcome.
How you feel today?
Feel amazing. I am blessed to see another day. I'm just overjoyed.
Yes. So today we wanted to know, I just introduced you with some of your background, right? But we want to know more about what it is that made you even want to go down this journey of basketball, and how basketball and education actually relates. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, indeed. Just being a student athlete, it goes hand in hand. You gain a lot of leadership skills, you gain life skills, you gain so many different things that when you're involved in it, you don't realize how much that it is preparing you for an adult. And so now understanding how much basketball has helped and paved the way along with my education on how to become a successful adult and then ultimately becoming a great role models.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here. Yes. So it all started when I was 4 years old. Growing up in an athletic household, my dad was a big sports fan. It was automatic that you had to be a student athlete. And I cannot express enough how many times I have to say student athlete first because dad don't play that. If you don't got the grades, you can't play. So
Right.
I knew automatically I had to take care of my business in the classroom as well as behave and always be on my best behavior because everything has to align. It can't be one or the other, has to be all three. So just holding myself to that manner helped me go a long ways and open up so many doors. So my passion for basketball started. I always watched my brothers play, my dad out there coaching them, and it was always the boys, boys, boys. So I'm like, I'll get out there and do it too. And I got out there and I did it. And I did it as great as the boys, if not better.
Right.
But Yeah. I feel like I always have to prove myself, so I definitely have to give it my all just to, represent for the females that, like, women can do it too. Because there's a lot of disadvantages as women in sports, so, I try to make sure that I do my part, and so that's kinda, fast forward to, how I have my nonprofit, but back to starting out, I started playing basketball when I was 4 years old, and I really loved the game, but I was always around boys.
Yeah.
Uh,
And it
yeah.
makes so much sense. Sorry, it makes so much sense that you're telling me this, right? Because I didn't know. But
Yeah.
Nicole, she has a 4-year-old daughter. And I mean, she's the cutest thing ever, right? And she's always out on that basketball court, with the other girls, and she's balling.
Right.
Outside of Coach Tay being the coach, right? I always wanted to know, like, where did that come from? And now she's telling us simply she started at that age. And if she started at that age, why not her daughter? So I
Right.
think that that's beautiful that she's able to watch you and dad, like ball and then decide that she wants to pick up a ball too. How does
Mhm.
that help? What type of impact do you think that has on her?
Kids are sponges, so everything that you do. So I'm not going to push my daughter to be a basketball player, but she is going to be aware. And, if she show interest, then we can take off. But I'm not just going to force her and try to make it her dream to be this basketball player. But she is going to be around it. So, why not try? And
And I
yes.
have a thought before we
Yeah.
move on, just about, yeah, your younger years. I played tennis when I was in high school, all 4 years, and it really can help you to develop your discipline and keep you from things that maybe you shouldn't be doing. Now, that didn't necessarily work in my in my world.
Yeah.
However, do you feel that being involved in the sport kept you from certain things that maybe your friends were involved in, or how did it really help to develop your discipline?
Oh my gosh. And this is a great question. Yes, it did make a huge impact on, my discipline. I'm on a schedule, so if I don't get this done at this time, then I can't do this. And this is what I really want to do. And that translated, but even my friends, my to this day, my friends are my friends who that I had since I was 9 and 10 years old. And I mean, I've made other friends along the way at school, but as far as like, someone who I can consider family, definitely that. I think sports bring that type of sisterhood as well. Usually that group of friends is more like-minded like you and those type of influences. And I did have another group of friends that had different type of influences.
Right.
When I was in high school, I started going to little parties here and there and being around people who wasn't really on the right track. But even just being around in my neighborhood, they'd tell me like, you got dreams to chase. So they'll tell me, okay, it's time for you to leave. And I'd be like, what? They're like, nope, time for you to go. There's bad things is going on. So I always respect that, and I always had that respect no matter like who the person was. They gave me that respect to know like, okay, this person is going somewhere. So we're gonna make sure that she's okay and protected.
So I think that that's super awesome that you actually had a tribe around you, right? We often hear about it takes a village to raise, like a child. So it's awesome to know that
Absolutely.
you had a tribe with you. And with that, you actually left to go play professional ball overseas. And then you came back. And when you came back into your community, I first met you and you were my granddaughter's fifth grade teacher for a short period of time before you left that class leveled up a bit. But what made you like leave Sacramento and go across the globe, make
Right.
good money and then say, you know what, my community is where I want to be? Did it happen like that? Or, what was the love for the community that made you want to come back?
You always as much support, like you said, it takes a village. As many people that were enter my life, they served a purpose and they helped me get to my ultimate goal, the dream. So definitely
Mm.
have to give that back in some shape or form. It doesn't have to be, I don't have to be the the college coach or this high level coach, but still giving back that the game, I have to give that back. I owe that to the game because again, I played overseas and I went very far just by bouncing the ball. And overseas, it was a beautiful, it was the dream. It was everything that I had hoped for, expected, everything I put all of my hard work into. I came across many obstacles to where, despite my height, I am 5'2". And so just by my statue, I don't look like a basketball player. So I had to work even harder, prove myself even harder just to prove that I am skilled enough to play at this level. And um, love the sport so much that going back to my community, the reason why I started my nonprofit was because the sisterhood that I talked about, we've been ranked since we were 9, 8 years old. So going far, that was something that was reasonable for us to touch. And so I remember when we were 10 years old, we went to Orlando, Florida, and it was the AAU national tournament. It was about 400 teams in just our age there at it was the Walt Disney Sports Complex. And so we took third out of all those teams, and it was a big deal. And we didn't know like how big it was for our success, but we were upset because we didn't get first place because we won everywhere else. So just being able to, show our skill set at a national level was really a big deal. And so we were recognized by the governor during that time at a young age. We were nationally ranked as the AU team, and we stayed like one group. So we started out SAC Future, we switched to Next Level, and then after we switched to Next Level, we stuck to that. So me having that nonprofit, I combined that with Next Level Futuristics because the next group is the future. So being able to have what I had in that experience, and along with that came sisterhood. There's traveling involved. I got to see so much, not just being stuck in one city. And that's pretty much why I wanted to give back to the community and pay my respects.
And something that, it sounds really great to travel the world. You've developed, from what you've just said, discipline, that you had to get your studies together. You had to do your practices. You had to get your rest so that you can be at your optimal self when it was game time. But then you also had your sisterhood. You had a number of things that kept you busy. And I'm sure folks want to know, how did you date during that time? Not to get into it too personally, but how does one who is on this athletic trajectory, you know, how do you have balance and have time for yourself in that respect?
My dad always instilled in me, school first. You don't got time to be worried about them boys. And thankfully, it wasn't social media too much. That was a distraction, but that was first. In basketball, I love basketball more than anything. So I love basketball more than the boys. So I'll let them know they understand. Just like all my other friends, they know that I have a big schedule. I got this going on. So, you can see me when you see me at school. There are times where you can squeeze in some time, but I think just that small gap of time was a good enough time because too much probably might have been too distracted.
Is this also what you instill into your girls that you're working with? Like, prioritize school, prioritize, your sport and your craft. And then you'll meet somebody who is understanding of your path. And if they're worthwhile, you'll squeeze them in as you can, but stay focused.
Absolutely stay focused. If they don't understand your schedule, they are in the way of your dream. So they are in the way. And if somebody who is understanding, then they are supportive. So, okay, I keep you, like, you might be able to add value to my life as opposed
Right.
to someone that is, trying to create hardships and, headaches.
Yeah.
Right.
It's funny. I'm hearing two words repetitively: discipline. And I'm also hearing focus. And
Mhm.
through all of that, education has to play a serious role, right? So we're talking about athleticism, we're talking about teenagers, if you will, or, young adults, stepping into relationships. But I want to know more about the education because it sounds like in order to reach a level of being a four-time all Big Sky conference holder, right? You still hold records at Sac State, right?
Mhm.
Like, so all of that seems to have been a priority over everything else. How did you
Right.
level set with being able to keep up with all of this and still bring the grades that you needed to earn, your degree and so on and so forth?
Yes, time management. If you didn't have it, you learn how to manage your time, and I mean eating right and being
Right.
able to be focused, getting your work done, and you don't have room to get distracted and things like that. So taking care of your business. I don't want to go home and have to do homework. I'm trying to already be ready for
Mhm.
practice and things like that. So I'm at recess or on the bus doing my homework before I get there. And if I do only have like a little bit to do, things like that, just trying to attack assignments as early as possible versus procrastinating. So procrastinating is not an option. A communication with your teachers. There's times where you can't you have to communicate with your teacher because you have a game, away game, and you're gonna miss this test. It really wasn't a big deal at the high school level, but in college, you walk in the first day in lecture, you show them your game schedule, teacher might tell you your chances of passing this class and this is the class that you need for your degree. There's no way around this class, but teacher telling you right now you're not set up because you're going to be missing these amount of days. So being able to plan ahead as much as possible to avoid things piling up on you, but definitely eating is very beneficial and eating the right things, not junk. I would say those factors and, being able to perform in the classroom as well as on the court, it took a lot of restless nights. I remember, my first couple years in college, I probably would run off of 4 hours of sleep.
I think that's pretty awesome. I know that with the nonprofit, you all teach the girls, like sisterhood. You all, go and ask them, what type of grades that they're getting. But more importantly, again, that sisterhood, just having open communication where the girls are cohesive. They're at different schools, yet they come together, like over the summer, and you help them to build camaraderie, but you also teach them lessons, if it's through, fundraising and why nothing is ever free, and sometimes they got to work for it themselves. Or if it's teaching them that ball handling is more than just simply ball handling in one manner, because today the level athleticism is, like sky high. So they have to start younger and you have them doing these different drills. Can you speak a little bit to how, you and your other partners, have these things set up in place for the girls?
Yes, so we are very intentional. My nonprofit, our vision is to be the best sports competitive club in the area, and while still having the best achieving academics as well. Coming together, I'm glad that you mentioned that because we do have grade checks just to check in, and it's not to, bring one of our players down. Is okay, what are you doing good at, and what is the area of need to
Mhm.
where we'll be able to support my sisterhood. At all 10 of us, we all graduated from college. 8 out of 10 of us, we all received Division 1 college scholarship or college basketball scholarships. So the girls that I have a part of my organization, those are the girls that is also part of my organization. So we have different backgrounds to where we can put together our level, our higher education, our degrees of, or excuse me, our variety of degrees and be able to help out our girls. I like to specialize in math and science. I know Coach Deja, she is in the process of studying pre-law, but she's good at reading and writing. Coach Sheena, she is in the process of getting her master's for physical education. And then there's also other girls behind the scenes that also reach different levels. For example, Brittany Shine, she's a college coach right now, college basketball coach. My cousin, Kyra Dunn, she is administrator right now. And so all of us just from basketball and us being together, all of these different things outside of basketball. So I want to make sure that my girls that I'm able to bless and touch be able to have that support to where, okay, what you need so we can be able so we can make sure that we shape you to be a future role model and great adult.
Absolutely. It's all about the leadership, right? And that's what it is that you're saying. Education is everything. And although that you're on the basketball court and the basketball court may be a high priority, education is the top priority. Oh,
Yes.
like and so Nicole, I think I've heard her talk about now, and I'm just trying to keep track of this, right? But I think I've heard her talk about discipline, focus, time management, and it was one more thing that I heard you.
Perseverance is major key. Perseverance, being able to push yourself through anything, whether if it's in school, life, basketball, anything. Being able playing basketball was one of the many ways that helped me push through things in life. And it's basketball just shaped and created so many different life skills that you can apply in real life, but it also just started with my dad and the village that I had was his favorite saying, and I heard it over and over and over again is the best that ever lived, the best that ever did it.
Mm.
So I got to be the best in the classroom. I got to be the best in uh, walking in the streets, the best citizen. I got to be the best basketball player. And I took that attitude and I applied it to life. So it's kind of that's been my push is to keep pushing through that perseverance because I gotta be the best.
And I'm also hearing relationships. That definitely is important. That is a life skill. The social aspects of your life, I think, is very important, whether that's dating, whether that's the sisterhood. We all have basic needs.
Yes.
And to know how to balance those needs amongst the achievement is very important. Achievement can feel really great and it can also burn you out. So you have to have that balance amongst all the things. And so I can appreciate, you saying that you have the sisterhood, you have your coaches, which now you are a coach and you're a mentor to these younger girls. And that mentorship, as we've heard throughout this series, is one of the major keys to success is having a mentor. So the fact that you had that mentor, the fact that you had your father and your mother and them saying, yes, you can do a little dating, but prioritize the things that are important to you. So helping instill that into these girls and in the surrounding community as well, I think is just so important that you come back and you're like a role model and that can come with some pressure, but it seems like you're up for the challenge.
Yeah, I'm used to it. And then my siblings and my dad, just the name Hilliard was a commonly known name in the sports. I had to hold my weight and be able to make sure that when my name is spoken, it's spoken highly. So
Mhm.
I did get a lot of recognition when I was in high school for track and also for basketball. So when I went to college, I was a little bit upset because I didn't really have aspirations on staying and playing at Sac State. I wanted to go outside and play somewhere big on a higher level. And then also too, some of my sisterhood family they got scholarships to go to Florida, University of Florida, University of Arizona. You got Cal. You got all
Yep.
these big top name schools. I was always a year younger than them, so now it's my turn to, get a big school. That didn't really happen, and so I stayed local. Sac State was my only offer, so I just took it and ran with it. Out of all of the girls in my group, I was the one who had the most impact. Experience was I couldn't trade it for nothing. And when
Right.
I said the whole city they knew and saw me. They had my picture on the bus. I was on
Wow.
the freeway. I was on the school website when you sign in.
Yep.
I was at the banks, I was at McDonald's, I was constantly in a newspaper, constantly online. I was literally everywhere to so many different people, and they would ask me. They're like, "Hey, I saw you." I had to like literally ask, "Where did you see me?" Because
Right.
I didn't know where you saw my face. So, so I had a beautiful basketball college experience, and everything happens for a reason. So, I'm just thankful that what I wanted, the way I wanted to happen, I'm glad that it didn't happen that way and it happened God's way.
Right.
God,
Yes.
it's an experience that I could never trade.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
in God's timing. In closing, you mentioned,
Mhm.
well, you have continued to mention about giving back to your community. And with this nonprofit, how can the community help support what it is that you all have going on for the girls these days?
Yes, so right now I really like to service the youth girls. So my major dilemma is finding a home. So although I do coach at different schools, I need a gym to where I can be able to run my business. Sometimes I have like partial commitments, so like, being fully committed to one to
Mhm.
where I can really establish my project is to actually open a facility myself, a whole health club. That's something that I'm working on.
Nice.
It's like 3 to 5 years to where I'll, have my physical therapy. I'll have a basketball court in there. Not only do I want to help the youth, but I love servicing people. And, I think that is my gift. So I just want to help people and help people. So being able to have a facility of all of my different gifts and talents that I can be able to service, I would like to have all that under one building. And my second project is to have a committed location to where I can create a youth basketball league.
Okay, community, y'all hear, you know,
Yeah.
she's looking for a facility. She's looking for support to build this
Yes.
wellness center in the next 3 to 5 years. So if you're in the Sacramento area, tap in wherever you can. I don't,
Yeah.
Nicole.
And where can they find you to and you may have been asking that because 'cause I'm wondering where can they
Yes.
contribute or offer support?
Yes. So my business is Sacramento Next Level Futuristics. My email, and I'll be able to provide that with you guys after this. But my email is nextlevel.futuristics. I can send over a donation letter. Attached will be my EIN number. And then also too, I'll have my social media platforms on there so you can follow my journey.
That is
Yeah.
so
What's your
awesome.
social?
Thanks.
What's your social media?
My social media is just Next Level Futuristics, all one word, on Facebook as well as Instagram.
But it has been a
Next
pleasure
level.
having you here. I
Right.
think again, you've capped off our education month and let us know or let the
Yeah.
community know that it's not always in the books. Sometimes it's fun through athleticism, and athleticism
Yeah.
will take you far. You can do anything that you want. With that, we want everybody to just keep it on the up
Keep
and
it on the up and
up.
up.